Chair lays out House Bill 2, relating to public education and public school finance. Members, I first want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to lay out House Bill 2. This is an historic piece of legislation, as House Bill 2 invests nearly $8 billion in funding for our public schools. That is a larger investment for Texas public schools and our education system than any other legislation we filed in the history of the state of Texas. I'm committed to providing our schools with this landmark funding infusion, but it will take the work of this entire committee to see this through. Proposals in this bill come from more than 3 years of work from so many members of the Texas House, including many policies that the House passed overwhelmingly in the 88th legislative session. It is my intent to hold this hearing with invited witnesses today and then a public hearing on Thursday to give an opportunity for as many individuals who would like to come and engage in the discussion on this legislation. The bill language before us today is not final. In fact, we've only just begun. House Bill 2 lays out several areas I believe Texas should invest in to support our schools, our teachers, and most importantly, our students. It's important to put more dollars in Texas classrooms. It is my intent that this committee hear testimony this week and work together on a committee substitute for House Bill 2 that we will vote out on March 18th. I fully recognize this does not leave us a lot of time. However, this is session in the Texas House, and this is a Texas House priority. I'm confident this committee will be able to work together to put together a bill that the entire House can champion. As with any large school finance bill, there are certainly things that need to be edited and adjusted. I've already identified a few things that need to change from the filed language. But again, this is only the beginning. My goal is to walk through House Bill 2 article by article and highlight the major components within the bill. I'm happy to take any questions at the end of my layout. Article 1, changes related to school finance. House Bill 2 adds $220 to the basic allotment and increases the percentage of that that must go to salary increases for teachers, nurses, counselors, and librarians. It expands the teacher incentive allotment to strengthen our educator workforce, ensuring more of our most effective teachers are rewarded and retained in the classroom, and provides funding for technical assistance to ensure our small and rural districts can implement this program. Members, with these two things along, teachers will see a significant pay increase next year. House Bill 2 expands the additional days school year program to provide extended learning time for students who need more academic support. Schools implementing ADSE have seen rapid, accelerated student learning, with math seeing particular gains. The bill updates resource campus definitions to make the designation more accessible for chronically challenged campuses without sacrificing the proven model's fidelity. I know Vice Chair Bernal championed resource campus policies in House Bill 3 in 2019, and I'm honored to work together to ensure more schools have access to this effective program. This bill will provide full-day funding for students in pre-K partnerships, strengthening our high-quality early childhood options. House Bill 2 increases state compensatory education allotment to further support high-impact tutoring and services for at-risk students. Texas is praised across the country for our commitment to high-dosage tutoring, and the Texas House is making sure that tutoring requirements have funding attached to it. The bill also provides a substantial increase to the small and mid-size allotment. It's never been more important that we understand that our rural schools are competing for teachers on a daily basis, and they absolutely must have the resources so they can attract the best and the brightest to rural Texas. House Bill 2 also provides much-needed increase to the charter facilities allotment for schools who receive an acceptable rating. The bill includes a high school advising allotment to ensure students receive adequate guidance both in high school and beyond to be successful in college, their career, and the military. And there is also a fine arts allotment to fund arts education that results in students who are engaged in their schools and communities, and fine arts participation is well known to improve performance in all academic subject areas. Members, as I mentioned, one area of this bill I know needs some work is a hold harmless fix from Senate Bill 2 from the 88th session. This language is included in the bill to allow us to have a discussion on the topic of hold harmlesses. The language is drafted to streamline the 3 existing hold harmlesses and run them all at the same time. I fully recognize we need to make some adjustments on this, but I hope to hear from members from this committee on your thoughts of this and other broad topics. Article 2, teacher preparation. Our interim committee hearings highlighted a distinct disconnect between the availability of certified, well-prepared teacher candidates and the need to fill vacancies in the classroom. We heard just last week over half of our first-time teachers last year were uncertified and unprepared, causing our students to experience months of learning loss and resulting in teachers leaving the profession at much higher rates. Teachers are suffering and our students are suffering, and reform and investment in educator prep can help solve this problem. Last session, the House overwhelmingly passed Representative Dutton's House Bill 11, which included many of the recommendations from the Teacher Vacancy Task Force and would have established teacher residency partnership preparation programs. Building off of House Bill 11 from last session, this bill would establish the Preparing and Retaining Educators Through Pre-Service Partnership Program, or the PREP allotment. The PREP allotment provides funding to districts, PREP programs, and teacher candidates. Members, for the first time ever, Texas will be investing in teacher preparation and certification. Currently, teachers must pay out of their pocket, pay their own way to get certified. And it's beyond time that we make investments in these professionals. Included within the PREP allotment is an incentive for teacher residencies, paralleling what Representative Dutton advanced last session. HB2 proposes a shift in the way Texas prepares our teachers, highly focused on professionalizing educator preparation in a manner similar to the way we professionalize medicine or law. Like most professions, teachers learn best when they have the opportunity to practice teaching in a hands-on setting. This bill includes high-quality hands-on routes to the teaching profession, such as semester-long teaching experience for our university-based prep programs and alternative certification hands-on pathway for individuals who already have a degree. These pathways will support the growth and expansion of teacher apprenticeship programs and ensure teachers enter the classroom well prepared. We know there's no one-size-fits-all for every district and every person who wants to be a teacher. But we know that when a new teacher has experience learning the skill of teaching, supported by a strong mentor, they're more likely to stay in the classroom and their students are more likely to learn. HB2 will expand the mentor program allotment established in House Bill 3 in 2019. It will also expound the wildly popular Grow Your Own program and establish it as an allotment. The bill provides funding to districts to rehire retired teachers without penalties, and it would reimburse cost of certification exams for special education and bilingual education teachers. With this infusion of state resources into educator preparation, the bill also puts in requirements that districts not be able to employ non-certified teachers for extended periods of time without getting them on a path to certification. Just as the state invested in modernizing our compensation system through the investing in the teacher incentive allotment, we need a similar effort to spur and scale innovation in our educator preparation programs. Article 3, special education. Members, you may recall several bills last session that had bipartisan support that would have provided significant funding and reforms to special education based on the 2022 Special Education Funding Commission's report. Ultimately, these bills did not make it to the governor's desk, and as a result, funding was left on the table for some of our students most in need. House Bill 2 includes nearly all of the SPED Funding Commission's recommendations, and I'll highlight some of those included in this bill. Perhaps most significantly, a recommendation from the Commission, this bill transitions funding for special education from a placement-based system to a service intensity-based system. A service intensity-based system involves a tiered system for the initial service intensity decisions based on students' needs, as well as funding for specific add-on services that are required for a student. It also provides a cost offset for full and individual evaluations for students evaluated for special education services. For the first time, Texas will provide districts dedicated funding to help reimburse districts for the costs of special education evaluations. House Bill 2 increases the special education transportation mileage reimbursement rate. To increase local capacity, provide a full continuum of special education services, education service centers and districts and charter schools could partner and receive funding to establish day placement programs to serve our most challenging students. This bill would also require TEA to establish a list of approved facilities that districts could use for day placement or residential program. HB2 doubles the college, career, and military readiness outcomes bonus for students receiving special education services. The bill would also expand the popular supplemental special education services program established in the 87th legislature, and it also will change the name of the program to better align with the program's intent. HHSC will develop information for school districts to distribute information about our state-supported living centers and be required to share that with parents. House Bill 2 would also increase the number of qualified SPED staff in our public schools through grant funding. The bill would reestablish the autism and dyslexia grant programs and provide adequate funding for those programs. Not included in the recommendations from the Commission, but will be incredibly impactful, is that for young children with disabilities, this bill would provide for free pre-K for 3- and 4-year-old if a student's ARD committee feels it's in the best interest of the student. Finally, to align with the focus on special education, school boards will have to discuss the performance of students with disabilities at least annually to ensure these students are not being forgotten or lost in the system. TEA will provide technical assistance around training educators on best practices related to educating students with significant challenges and setting up classroom environments that are most conducive to learning. To correspond with this monumental shift in special education funding reform, HB2 clarifies other parts of code and various state expectations to ensure all Texas students have access to a quality education. Members, I know that's a lot to take in. This bill, along with several other House priority bills, such as House Bill 4, House Bill 120, House Bill 123, and the budget with school safety funding, provides historic funding infusion into our Texas public schools. HB2 represents a strategic, student-centered investment in public education. It provides teacher support and a substantial investment in special education, all while ensuring district flexibility. I look forward to working with each of you to ensure the bill moves forward and delivers the necessary resources to our students and our schools. In addition to the invited witnesses, we do have agency resource witnesses available today if needed. Members, are there any questions for me?